Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another video. Season 27 PTR, as promised, build guide on the Akhan Condemn Crusader. It is a lot of fun to play. It's actually quite powerful. I think it shouldn't be nerfed. If anything, it's probably likely to be buffed, I guess, maybe by a few more tiers. I think at the moment with the 700 Paragon that we've got, it's about, I don't know, a 100, 105 kind of 3-minute speed farm. Obviously that is with some nice gear because it's PTR, so nice gear is easy to come by. Main stat of 17k. I have orged up some of these pieces, but do bear in mind that with the Echoing Nightmares, which is still going to be in the game next season, you will be able to up those augments to 125. You're also probably going to be able to beef on like a good 1500 Paragon. So your Akhan Crusader should be better than this. Mine has got crappy level gems, 46, 34, 25. So, you know, there is plenty of juice. We've also only really got the one modifier, which is maxed out with the season theme. The other two we've got in the cube. So all I'm getting at is it is quite powerful. It's not that hard to get a decent build setup. We'll talk about some of the roles and whatnot. Now, by no stretch of the imagination am I saying this is the best way to play it. I mean, it may just serendipitously be, but I think obviously as we go, as we test, there will be maybe some extra things that we could do. There's a few things that I did mess around with options wise, but as I say, it's a lot of fun and I hope you like it. Before we do get going though, as always guys, thumbs up brightens my day. And as I've got my Batman t-shirt on, who is your favourite Batman? I probably would say Christian Bale. Recent, obviously, you know, quite liked Michael Keaton as a kid. Adam West for the classic 60s show. But yeah, Christian Bale, I think, is probably the best. Who's your favourite Batman? Anywho, enough movie random chat. Let's jump in. Now, Akhan has been reworked, and basically the two-piece, we get Judgment, has no cooldown, and it gains the effect of every rune. So normally Judgment has a 20-second cooldown, but we can just repeatedly, well, I say repeated, it says no cooldown. It's got like a very split-second cooldown, and then it's back. So anything within this circle basically gets tagged with Judgment. We get all the runes. It doesn't matter which one of these runes we pick, but in theory what happens is everything within 20 yards gets immobilized. That duration is increased to 10 seconds with the Deliberation rune, so 10 seconds of stuffing things into place. We do get some life per second on the Penitence rune. We do actually get a like a clumping effect. A Mass Verdict will draw towards the center. This procs our strong arm braces for some extra damage, which is cool. We get a bit more damage out of Resolve with some extra crit chance, and then Debilitate is really handy. A 40% damage reduction for 6 seconds. So, you know, provided you're spamming enemies with this, they do less damage. So it's a really nice skill. I'm glad they removed the cooldown. It is pretty good. On the 4-piece, attacks from the Phalanx avatars, which are these dudes. You'll have to forgive the lag, guys. I'm in the UK and it's pretty bad. Attacks from these dudes will reduce Akrat's champion cooldown by half a second. So basically, you'll have perma uptime because you'll pop your Akrats, you'll pop your army of dudes. We're going for the bowmen. You can run it with other rune, but this is the one that I got because they've got range. As they hit, it will bring Akrat's champion cooldown back, and you will have perma uptime, which you need with an Akhan build because the 6-piece, that's where you get your damage. 1500% increased damage, as well as 50% damage reduction. Now, these guys, funnily enough, aren't pets. They look like pets. You would imagine they are pets. But from doing a bit of research, watching Wadijo's stuff, Max Roll, and just, you know, taking the pet items off the build myself, yeah, pet items don't work. So Tasker and Theo, they don't attack any faster. I don't think they get damage increase from the Enforcer. That might be fixed, that might be changed, that might be wrong, but to the best of my knowledge, my best time with a 102 is like 3 minutes or whatever, and that is not with these items, so unfortunately they don't work. Now, they will basically proc a Condemn whenever they hit, so you have to go Judgment. You know, if, let's say we're attacking Kadala, she has to be tagged by Judgment, and then when they hit her, they'll proc a Condemn for us. So we don't actually manually cast the Condemns ourselves. look at that lag, isn't that juicy? We don't actually press this button at all ourselves. I mean, theoretically you could do, but I wouldn't advise it because it will drop your Aquila. Now, we want the Condemn modifiers, so the Friar's Wrath goes in the cube. It has no cooldown, which is why we can pop out instantly. 800% increased damage. It would cost 40 Wrath, but don't worry, the Phalanx ones are free because it's a proc skill, so our Wrath is high, and we do keep up the Aquila the entire time. Blade of Prophecy is the next big modifier, so Condemn will trigger extra explosions. Again, big damage modifier on here. You will be looking to use your seasonal Angelic Crucible on the Blade of Prophecy because it's got quite a wide damage range, 600 to 800%. So obviously if you can use it on this, you'll get a primal. Two-handed weapon, very high damage range, decent damage from it. Aside from that, we're then going to buff up basically the Phalanx. So we can get Condemn damage on our chest and also on the shoulders. We can get Phalanx damage on our Unrelenting Phalanx shield. This is a Crusader shield. It's quite hard to get. Crusader shields, there's a lot. It's a bit fiddly. You do have a Phalanx damage roll on here, 45 to 60. I do think Phalanx damage does seem to make a difference. So I would be looking to get the 60% on here if you can. Other than that, we've also got the Warhelm of Cassar, which is brilliant. What a wonderful... I've got a primal one of these on off-season, so, maybe I'll be able to bust it out and use it. It reduces the cooldown and increases the damage of Phalanx by 60%. So normally this is on a 15-second cooldown, but as you can see, it pops back super fast. So we can keep perma uptime on these guys. And like with all pet kind of builds, whenever you recast them, they will reappear at your location. So sometimes if you're attacking, let's say you haven't applied judgment to the scoundrel, let's say you forget, these guys are really stupid. They will just attack the nearest thing to them. So if you're up here and you're thinking, what are they doing? They're probably just firing arrows at the scoundrel, not doing any damage. You need to come back and just tag with your judgment, and that should sort you out. Right, we have got a Crimson set just for the extra damage for cooldown rolls, extra resource cost reduction and more toughness. Neither of those two things are very beneficial. I mean, sure, it helps out a little bit with Steed Charge, helps out a little bit with Laws of Valor. I wouldn't say cooldown's mandatory. Perma Uptime and Acrobats is handled by the Akhan mechanics. I did rock the Guardian's Journey set, the new buffed one that gives you 50% extra main stat vitality on your equipped items only. So not your Paragon, but your equipped items only. Crimson's just still sadly seems to be the way to go. We've got Strong Arms. As we do apply the judgment, everything other than Juggernaut will get physically moved by the skill, and therefore we do get the extra up to 30% because it does any kind of moving of an enemy counts as a knockback, so that is pretty nice. We've got conventional elements for big damage on holy rotation. I've gone for Stone of Jordan to buff up the holy damage and elite damage, put those elites down so much quicker. Now you just have to match the element as always with the Stone of Jordan, so you could go fire and fire elements on your bracer. An amulet, obviously this amulet's a bit crap. You would want like elements double crit would be very nice, but it is what it is. Crit chance, I think you can go crit chance and phalanx damage on here on your helm for the max damage setup, and then phalanx damage on your shoes as well would be pretty handy. In terms of Crimsons, you obviously have to go for belt, and then you've got straight choice of trousers or boots. So whichever Akhan piece you find nicest, I would then craft the corresponding Crimsons piece. We've got Aquila just for the extra toughness. Yeah, I don't know. We keep it up pretty much most of the time. That's what she said. Ha ha ha. In terms of legendary gems, we've got the Zeiss, so we can basically be a little cowardly with this. We can tag with the judgment. These guys will be firing off the arrows, which will proc lots of explosions, condemns. We can then run away, which keeps us out of trouble, stops any incoming damage, and increases our damage because the further we go away, the more damage we do. A trapped, this is always up because we get the CC off the judgment. It looks really laggy at the moment, guys. I mean, there's not much I can do about that, but it's fairly responsive. if you're not lagging. And then we've got the Bane of the Powerful, just simply for the extra elite damage and damage reduction. Now, the pet gem, as we say, doesn't work. Gogok doesn't really seem to work very well because we're not actually hitting. Judgment does not count as a hit because you are casting stuff on the ground. I think that these guys will activate Stricken. So if you're wanting to push, you're going to need Stricken. You'll probably maybe need to do something for toughness a little bit further down the line. But yeah, that's about all the gear. Now, if you're going to do Echoing Nightmares, it's a great build for Echoing Nightmares. Now, we realistically only have to get to wave 125 to get 90% of the bonus of doing an Echoing Nightmare these days. You do get more XP for carrying on all the way to 150, but it's going to be a bit of a squishy build, I think, to go that far. In solo, it was no problem, got to 125, easy peasy. You obviously just need a flavour of time if you're playing in groups, and obviously if you're not, then you're absolutely covered by your follower. Now, some people probably have some questions about the new item, the Eternal Union. Increase the duration of the Bowman and the Bodyguard rune indefinitely. This item needs reworking still because it's pointless. I did play with it for ages, but as you can see, as we showed earlier, we press the Phalanx and the dudes are still here by the time the cooldown is there. So I don't know, maybe it's the Warhelm in combination. I don't think the Sheet cooldown's particularly great. Let's have a little look. Where are we? Resource, no. Life, there we go, it's up at the top. Cooldown reduction 40%, so not massive. You could probably even mess about with taking out the cooldown gem and try for maybe the vitality for a bit more life is an option to go. Looking at the skills, we've covered these two. Condemn Unleashed, we want the holy damage because we're obviously doing the holy cause, so we get extra damage and we get healing. So you will see in the footage, or maybe we'll go for a little spin, the life pool does go down and go back up. Don't be scared at later Paragons to pump 500 or so points into vitality to beef your life pool up. Dying sucks. Accurate's Champion, Profit, extra armor and cheat death, which is cool. It means we don't necessarily have to take a cheat death in here because we've got one with the follower. Heavenly Strength, obviously we need for the two-handed weapon and shield combo. Steed Charge, Endurance is just for getting about the map. And then Laws of Valor, Unstoppable Force. This is nice. Attack speed's really handy for this build because it means that the bowmen attack faster. Even though they're not pets, they do, I think, benefit, I guess, from fewer frames. I don't know what the breakpoints are. Again, we'd have to go to max roll for that. But attack speed should be quite beneficial, and the resource cost reduction is obviously godly for damage reduction with the Crimsons. But, I mean, theoretically, I guess there are potential other options here, but honestly, I haven't really tested anything. I've just been using Laws of Valor. Long Arm of the Law will give us more uptime on this. If you wanted, you could swap that out. Lord Commander gives 20% increased damage to the Phalanx and also some decent cooldown reduction on Steed Charge. I did play with this for a little bit, so it's kind of a bit of a toss-up. I'm not entirely sure which is best. It might well be Lord Commander, so we'll leave it on that for the purpose of the run-through. Binary, 1.5% strength for every gem socketed. Obviously, as your strength builds as a Crusader, you do get more and more powerful. It's a very scaling build. The further you get into the game, the better. I've just left red gems in. If you want the extra toughness, obviously go for diamonds. But GR 102 seemed fairly fine, given that we've got, cheat death follower, cheat death us, fairly decent, recovery with the heavenly strength. Not with heavenly strength, holy cause. And bear in mind, guys, as well, if you do pump your life pool up, this 1% is working so much harder. If we're healing for 1% of this, it's like, I don't know, 7,600. If we've got, double the life pool, 1.4 million, it would be, double it. So just bear that in mind. Vitality is not a terrible waste of time. Let's see, can we beat the record? Now, I do like this because it is pretty spammy. You can just, spam the buttons. There's no real downside. You can't really cock this up. And, yeah, we get lots of explosions. So, a nice map is obviously going to be something like this, you know, quite high density. As you can see, the lag, I'm afraid to say, this PTR is shockingly bad. I'm okay playing, I think, in the morning. It's not too bad, you know, running through the rifts, but any time in the afternoon, it's like this, you know. So this unfortunately is just lag. Now, the build itself, as I say, doesn't lag out too bad early in the morning. Whether if you started going higher, like 105, 110, maybe it would do. Like realistically, this is the lag killing us. The build's fine. Oh, maybe I'll have to tape some more footage for it. I'm gonna have to find some more footage, aren't I? But yeah, Jesus Christ, the PTR this time around is lag fest, because the guys disappear. Eternal Union does make it slightly easy. You don't have to worry about activating the phalanxes, but honestly, I think it's a little bit unnecessary. Right, here we go. This shield pile will help us out. Spam a load of buttons. We don't really need to press condemn. Look at this lag, guys. It's so bad. Oi. Anyway, trust me, it does work. You'll be able to see from there. I'll put some Echoing Nightmare footage up because I did record some of that earlier. And we're just gonna have to abort this. I mean, the season theme realistically offers a lot of cool things this season, but one thing it potentially brings is a shit ton. Like, this is the worst I've ever seen PTR for lag, which is not good. What can you do with this build? Keys would be brilliant. It's got like quite a decent AoE. The only thing is obviously we need to tag everything with the judgment. I don't think there's a way of getting your avatars powerful enough that they'll just like wipe the screen for you without doing the tagging. But keys would be really fast with it. It's probably, in terms of like how fast you can get through Rift, probably not as good as Aegis of Valor. That would probably be faster because you've got a very big AoE coverage with that build. But I think this will go higher. It does seem to be a little more powerful by like a good 5 to 10 tiers, something in that range. And you never know, we might, you know, with better gems, we might also find there's something we can do, maybe some other item that we can take. I think theoretically, if you wanted to, you could drop the Aquila, put the Akhan chestplate back on, go for Mage Fist, and then try and match fire for another 20% damage. You know, similar thing for the Andariel's Visage. You could slap that on here, Akhan chestplate back on. So there are options. We still also, you know, we could put the chestplate back on. That then opens up the amulet slot, so squirts might work. You could do Traveler's Pledge and Compass Rose. I don't really like that for speed builds, because for speed builds you rarely stand still, and what I find is you're then taking the necklace and ring slot basically just for 50% damage reduction, and you may as well just take the Unity for that. So yeah, that's the setup, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry the lag has just prevented any actual proper gameplay footage, but as I say, the Echoing Nightmare stuff hopefully you'll have seen. I'm not going to get a chance to record any more footage because I'm going to go and smash some Necro before I go. I go on holiday tomorrow. Awful timing, but it is what it is. Thank you for listening. Oh, actually, before we go, feedback to Blizzard. None of these secondary powers do anything for the Crusader. They're all rubbish. I mentioned this in yesterday's video. The Falling Sword, Angels, rubbish, don't do anything. None of the other two powers work with this build, so the hammer, you know, you're not going to take hammers with this ever, so that doesn't work. And I can't remember off the top of my head the other one, but it doesn't work either. So season theme wise for this build, it's a definite suck. It's pretty rubbish. The only thing you're getting is a primal weapon basically. So yeah, I make these powers do something for the Crusader, because otherwise, like, what, this build's cool. I think it's a good build. It's a definite hit. I like it, but nobody's going to play it really. I think if the season theme is literally just get yourself a primal weapon and that's it, there's no reason to play this on season. Just go play your Akhan set off season. Try the build out there. Right, definitely going this time. Take it easy, guys. Peace.
some of these. Patience. Not yet. I enjoyed that. Patience. Not ready yet. Light be damned. Patience. Not yet. Not ready yet. Not yet. Not ready yet. Power before Zakaroon. Patience. Not ready yet. Power before Zakaroon. Not yet. Patience. Not yet. Shout before the wind. Not ready yet. I grow weak. Patience. Power before Zakaroon. Strike failed. Not ready yet. I must heal. Not yet. Burn in the light. I need healing. Blessings of the light. I'm overburdened.